Okay, what I'm looking for are the connectors that are used on the ELF. Up at the front dash, most likely you have a number of connectors, one from your throttle, your brake, your light switches, all going to a common area in the bottom here. Now, most likely you'll have to cut the wire ties that are currently holding this piece up. I've already gone and cut mine off. And then there's a heat shrink tubing around the wire harness. Inside this wire harness are the connectors that I'm looking at, or that I need to take a look at. Again, I've already removed the heat shrink tubing that was on mine, and I put this temporary one on there so I can take it on and off pretty easily now. If I just roll back this a little bit, these are the connectors that I'm looking at, or looking for. And so what I need you to do is basically zoom in, take a look at it. This is a 6-pin connector. To release the connector, you have this latching mechanism. Go ahead and do that, and then it'll slide apart. And this is the connector from the light switch turn signal connector, which is this right here. If you trace this down, it goes to this connector. So what I want you to do is to kind of take a zoom in look, move that around a little bit so I can get a good look at it. Hopefully it's the same what I'm currently using. And then do the same for the connector that it was plugged into, going to the back to the ELF. And then do the next one. This right here is the throttle connector. Again, if you follow this wire up here, it goes right into the throttle lever. So I'm going to disconnect that, and again it has that latching mechanism here, so you just squeeze that and then pull it apart. And this is from the handlebar, the throttle connector itself. Zoom in, get a good look at it, rotate it around, and then look at the mating connector on the wiring harness. And then the last connector right here is your brake connector. Again, if you follow it up, it goes to the handlebar and your brake lever. So again, it has that same connector on there. You squeeze it and you pull it apart. That only has 2 wires on there. So again, take a look at this. Is the connector that goes to the handlebar brakes. Take a look at it. And then look at the mating connector, which is that one right there. So again, move it around a little bit. Get a good look at it. Okay, that's the first step. The second step is to follow the wire harness to where it goes into the magic black box. Now on mine, the harness comes on the left hand side, goes down, follows into the back, and here is my ignition key switch, or the power switch, and behind the panel here is my magic black box, the brain box. And so I need to take a look at the connectors that are currently in there. Now, in order to get access on mine to this, I can't really get down in there and see what's going on. So I have to open up this panel right here. On my unit, all I have to do is remove the back seat. It's held on by Velcro. And then when I remove the bottom portion of the seat, again, it's held on by Velcro. And I've already gone and removed the 3 screws that were here. I kind of cheated and got ahead of it here. So now with the screws removed, I can just swing that open, and this is where the magic black box is. Now down here, I need you to look for two connectors. One of them is the SBS power connector. This is from your battery to the motor controller. So I need you to take a look at that. And specifically what I'm looking for is, if you look at it right there where my thumb is, are the letters SBS50. Again, this is your battery connector, and I want you to take a look at that. Make sure you get the same one. The other connector is from the solar panel to the solar panel charger controller, and that's this little one right here. And in this case, I actually have the informer hooked up to it. I'm just going to hook it back up how it normally is. Okay, so this is what you're going to have. A connector that's red and green, or red and black. It'll probably be one of the two. And again, just kind of zoom in a little bit. Take a look at it. And that's all I need. So I need the two connectors in the back, the SBS 50, and this is called a Power Pole 15. And just zoom in on those two connectors. And then in the front, I need the connector for the turn signal lights, the connector for the brake, and the connector for the throttle. So you got three connectors up front. And you may have to, if you have the heat shrink on your wiring harness, after you cut the wire ties to get this accessible, you may have to cut this back with the scissors and open it up to take a look at this. If that's the case, I will go ahead and send you a new piece of heat shrink and some wire ties so you can put it all back together when you're done.